Thank you. Fine. So we go ahead to complete this chapter of human reproduction today. I think we had stopped at this particular slide. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'll just go for a slideshow. Mhm. Yes, am I right that we had stopped over here? Last class we had completed till this particular.
Yes.
Yes, no? Okay. So any doubts, any confusion in whatever we have done till now? Anyone wants me to go a bit back and explain certain things? Or is it like all of you all have understood?
Ma'am, I've understood, but can you just brief so that because the last lecture was like 1 week ago, so it will be good to start off.
Will always be 1 week ago only, my dear.
Yeah. Slide, the last slide.
Yeah, I'll just quickly go about from where we had started in the last class.
No, ma'am, not from there.
Yeah, I got
The
it. I'm just going through wherever we had started in the last class. I'll just go ahead with that very quickly. So we had started with gastrulation. I had told you all that what is gastrulation, how the bilaminar disc and trilaminar disc is going to happen. That is how the ectoderm and the endoderm are going to be formed first, and then there would be the formation of the mesoderm. This was that I explained you all about the entire formation of the extra embryonic mesoderm, which was very crucial. We saw how slowly this got converted into these spaces that were created that ultimately gave rise to something called as, ye dekho, extra embryonic coelom, primary yolk sac became secondary yolk sac now. Amnion and chorion were developed. We also saw how amnion and chorion were developed. We also saw there was something called as the procaudal plate, which will actually help us in giving the center or the central axis of our body would be determined by this procaudal plate. We saw the development of the primitive streak, and we also saw that how in that ring one particular group of cells are going to push to make something called as the mesoderm. So mesoderm is going to be squeezed out, right? You can see it's being squeezed out ultimately to make up the extra embryonal mesoderm as well. Then we had a word with respect to amnion. We saw how amnion is formed. You remember that amnion is also made up of two layers. That is going to be which and which layer will make up the amnion? Can anyone tell me? Which are the two layers that will make up amnion? And which are the two layers that will make up chorion? But first tell me which are the two layers that will make up the amnion.
ma'am, amniogenic cells and extraembryonic mesoderm.
Very good, beta. Very good. Excellent. Excellent. Yes, these are the two which are going to be making up the amnion. Very right. Then how amnion is important is something that we also saw. It is going to make a projection called as the villi, which are called, which are going to be making the connecting stalk. So the connecting stalk ultimately will make up the umbilical cord. So this particular amnion is going to extend ahead to make the umbilical cord, and even it is going to be the area in which the fetus will be completely surrounded, safeguarded by a fluid called as the amniotic fluid. So this amnion will ultimately get converted into a bag-like structure, a sac-like structure, and it is going to cover the embryo from all the sides, right? So amnion is very important. Chorion, we saw even chorion is made up of two layers. Do you remember which are the two layers that make up the chorion? Can anyone tell me? Anyone can tell me the chorion is made up of which two layers, beta?
Ma'am, parietal layer of mesoderm
Hmm.
and the cells of trophoblast.
Yeah, exactly. It's there right in front of you all that it is made up of mesoderm, that is extraparietal embryonic mesoderm, the outside one, and the trophoblastic cells. They also form certain something called as the brown color ki structures that we saw, that were the villi, which were the the specific projections that are going to help in binding the entire blastocyst to the endometrium. We also saw that eventually all the villi will disappear after some days, and only one would remain, which would be ultimately connecting to the connecting stalk to make up the umbilical cord. So we saw the formation of the chorion, we saw the formation of the yolk sac as well. We also saw that yolk sac is something which is going to become smaller and smaller in size. It gets reduced in size and it ultimately makes up a tubular structure, right? This is what we had seen. Then we saw something what was allantois, which was also very important. That is, it is going to be important with respect to what? With respect to blood supply. So the mesoderm of the allantois will form many small blood vessels in this particular region of allantois. And that is the allantois which will actually function as a very important part. That is, they will connect the embryo, the blood vessels will connect with the embryo and with the placenta. So like a bridge, it's going to be forming like a bridge like structure, and it will ensure nutritional and respiratory supply to the embryo. So the food supply and the exchange of gases is a resultant of these blood vessels, which are going to be a part of the allantois, right? So till here we have seen in detail. Then the same thing was explained entirely. The entire process was explained with this particular diagram. That is, this is the amniotic cavity. This was the primary yolk sac. Extraembryonic mesoderm has been found surrounding it. Then this was the connecting stalk, which was going to be a part of the allantois, your amnion wala layer. Then we also saw there is something called as visceral extraembryonic mesoderm and parietal extraembryonic mesoderm, right? Then what did we see? Then we saw in the D figure, you can very well see, in the D figure, you can very well see over here, see, this is going to be the chorion, this is the yolk sac, this is the amniotic cavity. The fetus is going to actually develop in this amniotic cavity, let me tell you. So this is the amniotic cavity where the fetus development takes place. You can see now the placenta formation has like actually started from this particular D figure. E figure, the placenta development has progressed, and this is the figure F. And in figure F, you can very well see how this amniotic cavity has increased in size and how the fetus development has started, that is embryo development has started. Chorion, this is the amnion, this is the placenta. These are the remains of the yolk sac. You can see the yolk sac has actually got reduced drastically. And this connecting stalk is now actually going to be called as the umbilical cord. You can see this. This is the umbilical cord over here. So this is going to be called as the umbilical cord. This is the extraembryonic coelom and this is the amniotic cavity. This is very important. So I think in the last class we had stopped at this particular slide. And now we are supposed to go ahead with the new topic, that is what we are going to understand the further development, how this is going to take place. Any confusion, any doubts with anybody? Anyone has got any difficulty in understanding this? No? Okay, fine. I go ahead. Thank you, Beta. So here I go ahead with the next slide. Fine. Now let us understand something, what is going to be the placenta. So here, the eggs of the viviparous animals are unable to develop into their embryos outside the uterus independently. This is very important. Unable to develop, ये word जो unable है, ये बहुत ही important word है. They are unable to develop into the embryos outside the uterus independently. जैसे कि reptiles है, birds है, their young ones can develop, their embryos can develop outside, right? But ours cannot. Why? This is because of the very little or negligible amount of yolk present in these eggs. These eggs means the eggs of human beings. Okay? In these eggs, which cannot fulfill the nutritional and other physical demands of a developing embryo. So, because of lack of nourishment, because of lack of nutrition present in the eggs ka embryo, ka yolk sac, the dependency of food is going to be completely on the mother. So here the embryo depends upon the maternal tissue for shelter, nutrition, respiration, etc. Okay, so we have to understand how is this placenta going to be formed. So as I had told you all earlier only, that placenta is going to be a combination of both maternal tissue as well as the embryonal tissue. So placenta is not just a simple membrane. It's made up of tissues from two different sources. The first is going to be the maternal tissue. These include uterine epithelium, connective tissues of mother, and the blood capillaries of mother. So the placenta formation is going to have the contribution from mother as what? Epithelium, that is the uterine epithelium, connective tissue and blood capillaries. On the other hand, if you talk about the embryonic tissue, just look at it. These include extra embryonic membranes, mainly the chorion. So we know that the chorion is going to have the chorionic villi, which are actually going to be a part of the embryonic tissue, which will help in catching hold of the maternal endometrial tissue, right? So that, like how we are going to actually hold, oh my. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. So this is going to be the maternal tissue, right? This is the uterine tissue. And these finger-leg projections, which are going to be the chorionic villi, these chorionic villi will actually come and they'll be embedding like this way. And then we said that majority of them are going to get diminished. They are going to get, lost. Why they are going to get lost? Because now they look at my hands. Now look at my fingers. So how it is? These are the villi which are approaching. See, these are the fingers which are coming inward, right? So they are approaching. So these are going to be your chorionic villi. And then when we say that the chorionic villi are going to go, they are going to diminish, they are going to get reduced, they are going to disappear. How do they disappear? They catch hold of this endometrial tissue. Okay, and they get themselves enmeshed in this maternal tissue. Enmesh का मतलब है पूरी तरह से उसके अंदर इस तरीके से जकड़ जाते हैं. Now you can see you can see these structures, they are completely interwoven. So in this way, the chorionic villi are going to get completely interwoven into the maternal tissue to form a strong and sturdy placental tissue. You can see this disc now very well. Okay, so this is the way. Now you try to separate it. It's very difficult to separate. It's not going to separate. Okay, it is going to be exactly like that way. They'll enmesh themselves inside. Fine. So embryonic tissue is going to be very important with respect to the chorion. That is what they are saying, mainly chorion. Yolk sac and allantois may also take part in the placenta formation. Understand this to some extent. Even yolk sac, which is a part of whom? Yolk sac is a part of the embryo. Allantois is a part of the embryo. Even they will extend and even they'll be embedded in this particular connecting stalk, as we used to call it now, a part of placenta. Embryonic connective tissue and blood capillaries are also the constituents of that particular placenta. So in this way, the placenta formation is actually going to take place. Understood how it is actually going to happen? So both the tissues, the maternal and the embryonal tissues, are going to play a very vital role in making this placenta. Fine. A common question asked in your exams, the maternal tissues which are involved in the formation of placenta are so and so. You have to select the options. And similarly, even embryonal tissue, they will ask you the embryonal tissue which is going to be involved in the placenta formation are going to be so and so. So you have to be aware of what are the tissues which are actually going to get involved to form the placenta. Fine. Okay. So any confusion in this slide? Sure. We'll go ahead. Okay. Well, then when we go ahead, we can see that this placenta in mammals is going to be called as chorioallantoic placenta. Chorioallantoic, as the name says. As the name says, chorioallantoic means chorion and allantoid membrane is going to be also involved in this. So we call it as chorioallantoic placenta. Let us understand this. In this placenta, allantoic mesoderm and the mesoderm of the umbilical cord jointly form the blood vessels of the umbilical cord. The endodermal part of the allantois remains as a very small cavity. They are going to be very small cavity. They are going to be, like a minute opening or a pore like a thing. Okay. So what are the two things that are going to be involved over here? See, the mesoderm of allantoic membrane and the mesoderm of the umbilical cord. They jointly form these blood vessels of the umbilical cord. To obtain nutrition from maternal blood, several finger-like processes or villi are formed by the chorion, which penetrate deeply in the crypts of the uterus, which I showed you all just now, how it is going to happen. Initially, the villi are scattered over the whole surface of the chorion, but later they become restricted in the deciduous bacillaris region. Now, where is this deciduous bacillaris region? Okay, ये जो region है, ये देखिए, now you can see very clearly here. Can you see this? Decidua bacillus. ये दिखाई दे रहा है आपको ये वाले डायग्राम में? Yes. अब ये जो Decidua bacillus है, ये कहाँ है बेटा? Where is it? Look at the position. It is opposite to the uterine lumen. It is opposite to the uterine lumen. Okay, so just understand the position. अगर मैंने इसको उल्टा भी किया ना, तो फिर यूटेराइन मेम्ब्रेन ऊपर आ जाएगा, ल्यूमेन ऊपर आ जाएगा, तो डेसिडुआ बैसिलस नीचे आ जाएगा. Okay. Now, the chorionic villi on the remaining surface disappear shortly. मैंने अभी आपको बताया that why they disappear. They actually don't disappear. They get completely enmeshed. Okay, therefore हमें लगता है कि it has got disappeared. It's not disappearing. The part of the chorion which helps in placenta formation is going to be called as chorionic frondosum. Chorionic frondosum is going to be that part of the chorion which is actually helping in the formation of the placenta. So the villi have disappeared. Only one particular region of this villi will remain intact. That will be called as chorionic frondosum, which will actually remain as a connecting stalk. Fine. So here we have taken a TS of this placenta and we have tried to figure out what it is all together. Here in this diagram you can see deciduous bacillus. Here you can see the uterine lumen has become smaller. It has actually got squeezed. In this diagram you can see it is really large. Now it has become smaller. Right? And here you can see very clearly decidua capillaris. So here also there was decidua capillaris. Here also there is decidua capillaris. Now if you look at this particular structure, can you actually recollect this particular diagram that we had seen earlier? Do you remember this particular ऊपर का ये जो ऐसे आपको अभी सेमी सर्कल के जैसा कुछ दिख रहा है, नीचे डॉटेड सर्कल के जैसा कुछ दिख रहा है? अभी समझ में आ गया ये कैसे है? So in this way na, the entire nourishment providing apparatus gets ready because the embryo has to have what? खाने पीने का सवाल है ना. तो जब तक उसको बराबर से फीड नहीं मिलता है तब तक it cannot grow. तो ये एम्ब्रियो को फीड कराने का काम कौन कर रहा है? प्लेसेंटा कर रहा है. तो in this way the entire apparatus is ready now for the nourishment of the embryo. और उसके बाद as it gets the nourishment, then the development of the embryo is eventually going to initiate, is going to begin. Okay, so just don't take too much tension of this particular part. Just remember that the chorionic villi, which are going to be restricted in a particular area, which will be remaining as villi in a particular area, that area would be called as deciduous bacillus. Okay, and the area opposite to that would be called as uterine lumen. Okay, the part of the chorion which helps in placenta formation is chorionic frondosum. Is it fine? So ये तीन चीजें अगर आप याद रखते हो, with the very first point which is very important, that the placenta is made up of two mesoderms, allantoic mesoderm and mesoderm of the umbilical cord. That is nothing but the connecting stalk. Is it fine? Have you all understood? So all mammals have got chorioallantoic placenta, which is not a case in reptiles and birds, because their yolk sac is very well developed, so they do not require the presence of this particular chorioallantoic type of placenta. They don't develop any placenta at all. Is it okay? Any confusion, any doubts with respect to this? You want me to explain chorionic frondosum? Okay. See, here you can see, this is what beta, this entire round structure ke upar, you can see this hair-like things. These hair-like things are nothing but they are the chorionic villi. These hair-like things are the chorionic villi. Now you can see from rest of the area, this chorionic villi have disappeared, right? It's only present on this particular region. एक face के जैसा दिख रहा है, उसके ऊपर बाल दिख रहे हैं अभी. So the region where this chorionic villi are going to be persistent, they are going to remain, they are going to be involved in placenta formation, is only that particular persistent region wala chorionic villi. So that particular region of the chorion, which is going to directly take part in the formation of the placenta, would be called as chorionic frondosum. Got it now? Okay. The entire kahani I've told you all that only, that what is deciduous bacillaris and what is uterine lumen. मैंने आपको अभी यही तो बोला था. What is deciduous bacillaris or bacillus? Look at the third point. Initially, the villi are scattered over the whole surface of the chorion, but later they become restricted in the decidua bacillaris lead region. So that region which is going to be having a limitation of the presence of the chorionic membrane is, or the chorionic villi, is deciduous bacillus. Okay, and these villi which are going to be present in this deciduous bacillus region, which are going to now actually take involved in the formation of the placenta, would be called as chorionic frondosum. Okay, and uterine lumen is going to be the cavity. Uterine is the uterus cavity, uterine cavity. The uterine wall का जो cavity है, that is going to be the uterine lumen. Okay, got it? Fine. So that is the formation of our how chorionic allantoic placenta takes place in mammals, all mammals, but we are talking about humans. Even in human beings, such a thing is going to happen. Well, complete explanation now with respect to how many days में क्या क्या हो रहा है. Once we saw that the egg is liberated from the Graafian follicle, it is viable for 48 hours. If within 48 hours it's going to get fertilized, then in that event we saw in the earlier previous slides that it was taking around how many days to reach the uterus? Does anyone remember? How many total days does it take to reach the uterus? Approximately a range मैंने आपको बताई थी. Does anyone remember what is the range? Between which to which day the fertilized egg would reach the wall of the uterus to get embedded? Does anyone remember that?
4.
Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, Shravani, you're right. Very good. Yes. It's going to be around 6 to 8 days. Okay, that it will be actually coming and embedding itself. Fine. So around 8 days, the embryo would look something like this way. You can see this A figure. This is going to be the 8 days life of the embryo. This is 3 weeks embryo, that is around 20 days, where the amnion, the connecting stalk, and the placenta formation has started. So the placenta formation takes place around after 21 days of fertilization. This is 4 weeks embryo. You can see over here now, the connecting stalk is very well established. This is the chorionic, area. This is going to be the yolk sac. Look at this. This diagram we have seen in detail earlier. Now this is 4 weeks. This is 5-week embryo. Look at the development within 1 week. From 4th week to the 5th week, मतलब around 1 month के तुरंत बाद देखिए क्या हो गया है. एलेंटॉइस फॉर्म होते ही डेवलपमेंट ऑफ एम्ब्रियो देखो कितना अच्छी तरह से होने को स्टार्ट हो गया. Why? Because सप्लाई मिलने को स्टार्ट हुआ. This is the connecting stalk. This is now going to be called as your placenta. This is the yolk sac which has got tremendously reduced. You can see, right? Look at this 8-week embryo. 8-week embryo is hardly 2 months. है या नहीं? 8-week embryo is hardly 2 months. And look how much development has taken place. You can see this now. Now in this particular area, you can see decidua bacillus very clearly. See the area where the chorionic villi are restricted. Right here you can see this. And the connecting stalk has now been labeled as the umbilical cord. Right? Till here we were calling it as the connecting stalk. Now we are going to call it as umbilical cord because it is everything in place. The formation of decidua bacillus is completed. Fine. And this is the area which is going to be now called as the umbilical cord. You can see the chorion is intact. The amnion is also intact. There is amniotic fluid here surrounding this particular developing fetus. And see, amnion cover is also going to be present on the umbilical cord. So this amnion cover has begun from this umbilical cord region. See, it has taken this particular entire structure. See, this is entire your amnion cover. It is covering the entire umbilical cord up till the baby's navel area. So within 8 weeks, look at the embryo development, how beautifully it has happened. But this is just the diagrammatic representation. We are going to talk about every week में क्या-क्या development होती है is something that we are going to see in details. Okay. So let us understand how this is actually taking place. Fine. We come to something called as the gestational period. After copulation, that is after the insemination has taken place, oxytocin hormone is secreted from the pituitary gland. Now, this is what I was telling you all, that the entire control is going to be a hormonal control and a neural control, which is going to make this pregnancy successful. Okay, so see, after copulation, oxytocin hormone is secreted from the pituitary gland. This hormone promotes the peristalsis in the fallopian tube. Peristaltic action means to contract and expand. ये जो होता है ना, ये धड़कन जो हम कहते हैं ना हमारे हार्ट की, उसको हम पेरिस्टाल्सिस कहते हैं. तो just like a pumping action. So ये जो fallopian tube है, ये क्या करेगा? It will act like a, like एक pumping action उसमें set हो जाएगा. This pumping action is set because of the release of the hormone oxytocin. Oxytocin is released from the pituitary gland of the female. The female pituitary gland will start synthesizing oxytocin hormone once the copulation has taken place, and this oxytocin is going to cause a pumping action which is called as peristalsis in the fallopian tube. Okay, now because of this pumping action, because of this peristalsis, what is going to happen? It's going to give, or it's going to set a movement of the sperms towards the egg, and the egg towards the sperms. Okay, so it's actually going to bring the two gametes closer because of this peristaltic action. The time from fertilization to parturition is termed as gestation period. So right from the fertilization time up to the delivery of the baby, we always use the word gestation. Okay. In humans, actual gestation is going to be around 9 months plus minus 7 days. So ideally, it should be around 9 months plus minus 7 days. Fine. In humans, expected date of delivery, which is called as EDD, is the first day of the last menstrual cycle plus 9 months plus 7 days. Now, this is very important. This is something very important. See, for example, I'll tell you that how it is calculated, how the EDD is calculated. Fine. So suppose a female had her menstrual cycle. This is what? August. Which August? 20, 19, whatever. 20 August. Yeah. So today is 20th of the August. Okay. If a female had her menstrual cycle last month, that is, say around 10th of July was her menstrual date. Okay, so her menstrual flow, that is the first phase, that is the bleeding phase as we call it, or the weeping phase as we call it, was on 10th of July. Okay, now 10th of July till 10th of August, right? She was expecting her menstrual cycle to begin somewhere in the month of August, around 8th of August to 10th of August. She's expecting her menstrual cycle to resume. Okay. But she misses her menstrual cycle. She will wait for another 2 days, 5 days, 8 days, 10 days. Now this is 20th of August. Okay. So she'll go for a checkup to see if the fertilization has effectively taken place, and she's tested positive that yes, the fertilization was ensured, and now the development of the fetus has begun, is what the doctor would tell her. Now she will be given her EDD, that is, her expected date of delivery would be given to that particular female. So when it would be, so we have to consider 10th of June plus 9 months. So 10 June, say July, August, September, October, November, December, Jan, Feb, March. So though her pregnancy was confirmed on 20th of August, her EDD will not be counted after 20th of August. Rather, it would be counted from the first day of the menstrual cycle of her last menstrual cycle period. From that day onwards, plus 9 months. So till 9th March, she will be completing her 9 months plus minus 7 days. That would be the expected date of delivery. Did you understand this? So that this has to be very, very clear to all of you all, that when the pregnancy is detected, from there 9 months are not counted. From where are the 9 months counted? From her last month's first day of the menstrual cycle. Is it fine? Now she might go, instead of 20th August, she might go for a checkup in the month of say September 2nd also. doesn't mind. She can go for a checkup anytime. But how is it calculated? No, she has. In July, she had her proper menstrual cycle. In July, she underwent a proper 5 days, 6 days of menstrual cycle. There was nothing, no problem with all the things in place. But while counting, we counted from 10th of July in this female's case. Okay, logically, that particular time, definitely the fetus development has not started or fertilization has not taken place. We do agree to this, right? The fertilization is expected to happen on the 14th day, है ना? करेक्ट ना? तो हमारे हिसाब से 24th के बाद ही फर्टिलाइजेशन होने के चांसेस है. 24th ऑफ जुलाई के बाद ही फर्टिलाइजेशन होने के चांसेस है, इज व्हाट आवर कॉमन सेंस सेज. दैट इज अ ट्रू थिंग. तभी होगा, उसके पहले तो होगा ही नहीं फर्टिलाइजेशन. बट काउंटिंग करने के टाइम पे है ना बेटा, काउंटिंग के हिसाब से, नंबर ऑफ डेज के हिसाब से, इट इज ऑलवेज काउंटेड फ्रॉम द फर्स्ट +9 ±7 टू गेट द ईडीडी. सो जो हम कहते हैं ना 9 months ऑफ प्रेगनेंसी, लॉजिकली स्पीकिंग वो 9 months नहीं होते हैं ना, उसमें से 14 days माइनस करने हैं, 15 days माइनस करने हैं, कभी कभी 12 days माइनस करने हैं, बिकॉज वी रियली डोंट नो दैट फर्टिलाइजेशन के टाइम पे जो एग लिबरेट हुआ था, वाज इट ऑन द 12th डे और वाज इट ऑन द 13th डे और वाज इट ऑन द 14th डे और 15th डे और 16th day. It's going to have a like a march, एक ये रहेगा उसके पास. तो वो हमें पता नहीं होता, इसलिए हमेशा कैलकुलेशन जो होता है ना, first day of the last menstrual cycle. Okay, did you all understand how to calculate EDD? Nowadays we have got all the high-tech machineries available to actually get the right EDD. There is no need of such calculations. For every sonography a female goes to a doctor, the doctor would make the EDD plus minus. It depends on the growth of the embryo. How much is the actual growth of the embryo that has taken place till now will directly calculate the EDD. But roughly, you all can calculate the EDD depending on the last menstrual cycle ka date if you all are aware of a particular female. Fine? Yeah, you're right. Okay, so I think you all have understood how to calculate EDD. No confusions now? Okay, shall we move ahead? Anyone having any doubts? Fine? Okay, sure. Okay, let's go ahead with the summary of the developmental stages in human. Day 1, fertilization. The diameter of the fertilized egg is only about 0.15 mm. Day 2, it became 2-cell structure. Day 3, 16-cell structure or morula. Day 4, entry of the blastocyst into the lumen of the uterus. That is disappearance of the zona pellucida. Do you remember why zona pellucida was present till now? Do you remember the reason for that I had told you all? That the presence of zona pellucida is very, very important. Does anyone remember that? Can anyone tell me why zona pellucida has to be there? Very good, Parnavi. Yes, Akshay. Yes, Vedant. Very nice, beta. Perfect. So it will prevent the sticking of the embryo at a wrong place. Very correct. So now since it has entered into the uterine cavity, the zona pellucida is supposed to get disappeared. Diameter of the blastocyst is about 0.3 mm. 7 to 8 days, partial entry of blastocyst inside the endometrium of the uterus, which we call as implantation. Day 12, complete entry of the blastocyst into the endometrium and the formation of extra embryonic mesoderm, amnion and yolk sac will take place. Look at these days. These are very important. Day 12. complete entry of the blastocyst and extra embryonic mesoderm and amnion and the yolk sac is going to be formed. Day 14, formation of the primitive streak. Day 18, formation of 3 to 5 pairs of primitive mesoderm. Day 19, immediately as the 3 layers are now formed, ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm, see primitive mesoderm के 3 layers यहाँ पर बन चुके हैं, है ना. जैसे ही ये 3 layers बन जाते हैं, what happens, see immediately neural groove, neural plate, notochord plate and 6 to 8 pairs of primitive mesoderm is going to be further formed. तो ये primitive mesoderm जो है ना बेटा, वो बढ़ता जा रहा है, वो बड़ा होता जा रहा है और उसके साथ साइमल्टेनियसली क्या क्या बनता गया. न्यूरल ग्रूव. ग्रूव का मतलब समझते हो? यू नो व्हाट्स अ ग्रूव? व्हाट्स अ ग्रूव? कम ऑन, टेल मी व्हाट इज अ ग्रूव. सिंपल इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज. व्हाट्स अ ग्रूव? नो? Yeah, yes, very right. They are long, you know, like hollow ट्यूब्स के जैसे, होल्स जिसमें होते हैं, सेंटर में होल होता है, रिज कट या डीप कट्स. वेरी गुड, वेरी नाइस. यस. तो आपने पता नहीं मुझे, हम जब छोटे थे ना, व्हेन वी वर स्मॉल, हम है ना स्कूल के बाहर हमारे वो फ्रायम वायम बेचने वाले लोग होते थे, दे यूज्ड टू कम. तो उसमें है ना ऐसे येलो कलर, पिंक कलर के ऐसे ना बड़ी बड़ी ऐसे फ्रायम्स मिलते थे विच वर हॉलो फ्रॉम इनसाइड. वो हमें ना हाथ हमारे फिंगर्स में डाल के एक एक करके खाते थे व्हेन वी वर वेरी स्मॉल. पता नहीं आप लोग ने ये कभी देखा है कि नहीं. यू हैव डन ना. इट्स वेरी नाइस. या इट्स वेरी टेस्टी. अभी आजकल तो स्कूल के बाहर ऐसा कुछ मिलता भी नहीं है. मेरे टाइम पे हम लोग बहुत, मतलब हम बचपन में तो इतने मजे किए हैं ना लाइफ में. ये पूरे 5 उंगलियों में वो डालने के कलरफुल वाले वो फ्रायम्स, बोलने के लिए फ्रायम्स, दे वर नॉट फ्राइड. वो है ना सैंड में उसको सेकता था. अभी भी मिलता होगा, मुझे नहीं पता. और फिर उसको हम ऐसे 5 उंगलियों में डाल के खाते खाते घर आते थे वॉकिंग. एनीवेज, तो वो कैसे दिखता है ना बेटा, समथिंग लाइक दैट इज कॉल्ड एज अ ग्रूव. Okay, so here there is going to be formation of a neural groove, neural plate. Yeah, I know. Villages side you will still get it. Even in my village, in my native place, I do get it. And वो ना वो कैसा है ना बेटा, वो ऐसे उठा के खाने में मजा नहीं आता है जितना वो उंगलियों में डाल के खाने में मजा आता है. आता है ना? मुझे बहुत आता है. आई डोंट नो अबाउट यू ऑल. आता है, देखो. यस, यू ऑल आर सेइंग यस. सो सब मेरे पार्टी के हो तुम लोग. एनीवेज, गुड. सो yeah, there are some things, you know, which you will cherish forever. कुछ कुछ बातें हैं जो ऐसे एटिकेट्स में खाने पर मजा नहीं आता है. कुछ लोग बहुत ऐसे एटिकेट्स मेंटेन करने वाले हैं. गुड, आई डोंट हैव एनी ऑब्जेक्शन टू दैट. मेंटेन द एटिकेट्स. बट फिर चोरी छुपे कभी कभी ऐसा अपने हिसाब से खाने में भी मजा आता ही है. Yeah, anyways, bacha. Yeah, so see what is, you understood, I mean, why I gave this example. Same उसके जैसा ये neural groove दिखता है. So that is going to be formed on day 19 along with neural plate, notochord plate and further enlargement of the primitive mesoderm is going to take place. तो ये 19th day की कहानी है. देखेंगे 20th day को क्या होता है या उसके आगे. Indication of the formation of the head and tail region. Head and tail region means हमें तो tail practically नहीं है ना, but coccyx करके कुछ होता है हमारे में. I think you all are aware of this coccyx, which is a vestigial structure now, of course. So उसका जो formation है या tailbone, yes, इसका formation अभी 24th day में start हो जाता है. 21 to 23 pairs of primitive mesoderm are formed. तो देखो कैसे बढ़ रहा है इवन अपना primitive mesoderm. Formation of heart continues at a ventral side. Continues ये word important है. देखिए जो सबसे पहले सोनोग्राफी में स्ट्रक्चर जो हमें दिखता है वो होने वाला है बच्चे का हार्ट। सबसे फास्टेस्ट डेवलपमेंट होती है हार्ट की बच्चे की, एम्ब्रियो की जो डेवलपमेंट होती है, हार्ट सबसे फास्ट डेवलप होके, मतलब जनरली व्हाट हैपेंस, सी सपोज लाइक a menstrual cycle is missed, as I said just now कि 10th जुलाई menstrual date थी लास्ट मंथ की, तो ये मंथ द फीमेल विल वेट for the menstrual cycle to arrive by around 10th of August. She will wait for another 3-4 days, 5 days, 8 days, 10 days तक wait किया. Then definitely she will go for a confirmation test. Once the pregnancy is confirmed, see, for a confirmation test nowadays we have got all the kits which can be just got at home and you can self check it. And if you feel yes, it's a positive case, then definitely you can confirm it with the doctors. So एक blood test किया जाएगा जिसमें आपका प्रोजेस्टेरॉन लेवल चेक किया जाएगा, बिकॉज वी नो अगर प्रेगनेंसी मेंटेन होती है तो द हार्मोन कॉल्ड एज प्रोजेस्टेरॉन वुड बी इन very high amount. So a blood test will be done, and after that, the doctor will recommend the female to go for a sonographic test. So around, you know, like say for 6 weeks, 6 weeks के बाद, मतलब day 1 से लेकर ना 10th जुलाई की बात कर रही हूँ मैं, 10th जुलाई के बाद अराउंड 1st-2nd सितंबर तक, अराउंड दैट 6 weeks हो जाते हैं. तो बाय द टाइम द टेस्ट आते हैं जाते हैं, उसमें करते करते है ना अराउंड 5 to 6 weeks निकल जाते हैं. सो अराउंड 5th or 6th week, इफ द फीमेल गोज फॉर अ सोनोग्राफी, द डॉक्टर विल डायरेक्टली शो her baby's heart being beating very fast. That heartbeat is tremendous. इतना fast होता है वो. हमारा कैसे है, एक particular rhythmic movement है हमारे हार्ट की, है ना. ये जो डेवलपिंग हार्ट होता है ना बेटा, इट एक्चुअली फ्लिकर्स, इट गोज सो फास्ट. सो वो जो दिल की धड़कन सुनाई भी देती है मम्मी को सोनोग्राफी के टाइम पे और दिखाई भी देती है. ओके, सो हार्ट फॉर्मेशन जो है ना, इट इज रिटन एज इट इज कंटिन्यूड, it is continued. Okay, so that is the reason. See, yeah, 4 bones fuse, no, a proper mesodermal heart origin में दिखाई देता है, बराबर से वो हार्ट का synthesis. हाँ, yeah, you want to say something? Yeah, anyone wants to say something beta? I could hear someone speaking. No? Okay, so that is that heart formation is going to be clearly, of course it is going to be very छोटू, इतना छोटू दिखता है, मिनिएचर हार्ट दिखता है, बट दिखता है. ओके, फाइन. सो हाँ, then at which stage does the heartbeat, as and when ना the fetal development will progress ना, धीरे धीरे कम होता जाएगा. लेकिन आपने अगर देखा है, have you seen a newborn baby sleeping? कभी देखा है उसको ऐसे सोते हुए? जस्ट न्यूबॉर्न बच्चा होता है वो, न्यूबॉर्न बेबी होता है वो, उसका ना हार्ट बहुत तेजी से चलता है. यू कैन एक्चुअली सी द पैल्पिटेशन ऑफ द बच्चा. वो जोर जोर से ये लेता रहता है उसका. और अगर उसके हार्ट बीट्स आपको नहीं दिखाई दे रहे हैं ना, तो लुक एट दिस पोजीशन. ये जो एरिया होता है हेड रीजन, वो भी ऐसे फ्लैप के जैसे ऊपर नीचे होता जाएगा जैसे ही वो इंस्पिरेशन और एक्सपिरेशन करेगा. ओके, इट्स गोइंग टू रिड्यूस इवेंचुअली, धीरे धीरे, बट छोटे बच्चों में हार्ट बीट बहुत फास्ट होती. फाइन. फिर धीरे धीरे, मतलब टिल द एज ऑफ 5 वो फास्ट ही है, आई वुड से. फ्रॉम द एज ऑफ 5 ऑनवर्ड्स वो धीरे धीरे स्लो होता जाता है, नॉर्मल हो जाता है. फिर अराउंड 72 बीट्स आने चाहिए पर मिनट, है ना. तो वो आने के लिए फिर धीरे धीरे स्टार्ट हो जाएगा, तब तक नहीं. हाँ, व्हाट्स योर डाउट बेटा? It is going to require a lot of oxygen for development. The more is the oxygen that will be taken up, the faster would be the overall growth of that particular fetus. So इसीलिए heartbeat fast होते हैं बच्चों में भी. फिर धीरे धीरे कम होता जाएगा। आपका भी हार्ट बीट अगर अभी आप चेक करोगे, यू नो ना, पल्स रेट इज इक्वल टू हार्ट बीट। पता है आपको पल्स कैसे चेक करनी है? की है कभी खुद की या दूसरों की? तो एटलीस्ट
Yes.
खुद की करना भी सिंपल है, दूसरों की करना और भी सिंपल है। खुद की कभी भी फोर फिंगर से नहीं की जाती है, खुद की थंब से की जाती है, और दूसरे की फोर फिंगर से की जाती है। ओके, डॉक्टर के पास जाओगे तो डॉक्टर ऐसे फोर फिंगर्स आपके रिस्ट एरिया में दबाकर चेक करेगा ना, व्हाट इज द पल्स रेट एज वी कॉल इट। यस, okay, yeah, holding the wrist, yes, but yes. So why it is going to be connected, I'll tell about this in circulation chapter. सर्कुलेशन चैप्टर में जैसे मैंने आपके उस दिन मैंने आपको एक आई का मॉडल बताया था, वैसे ही हार्ट का भी अपने पास मॉडल है। सो आई एक्चुअली गेट द हार्ट का मॉडल, यू कैन एक्चुअली रिमूव ईच एंड एवरी पार्ट ऑफ द मॉडल का हार्ट, and that time you will come to know that how exactly the circulation takes place and how that particular circulation is directly related with the heartbeat and the pulse rate. सर्कुलेशन चैप्टर में पूरा एक्सप्लेन करो उसमें भी आप। ओके, और एक्चुअल मॉडल जब आप लेके हाथ में देखो, when we try to do it with respect to the diagrams and all ना, it's a two dimensional structure, but when you take that heart in your hands, आपके हाथ में जब वो हार्ट का मॉडल मैं दे दूंगी तो आप एक्चुअली उसको हर एक पीस को बाहर निकाल के देख सकते हो अंदर क्या है। इट विल बी वेरी सिंपल एंड वेरी इजी टू देन फॉलो। ओके, अच्छा, वाई थंब फॉर योरसेल्फ, इट इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू पुट फोर फिंगर्स। देखिए मिलेगा ही नहीं आपको, बहुत डिफिकल्ट हो जाएगा। आप थंब अक्रॉस, नाउ आल्सो यू कैन डू इट व्हेन आई एम टॉकिंग, जस्ट पुट योर थंब इज ब्रॉड, है ना, और मैंने कैसे डाला उसको, आड़ा डाला है। तो जब मैं मेरे थंब को मेरे हाथ के अगेंस्ट ऐसे प्रेस कर रही हूँ, you can see my hand how I'm compressing it, can feel the heartbeats very clearly or the pulse can be felt immediately. Do you all? मिला आपको? आपके बाजू में आपकी मम्मी है, डैडी है, भाई है, बहन है, तो उनको आप थंब लगाकर देखिए, मुश्किल हो जाएगा मिलना, बट अगर आप उनको फोर फिंगर से करके देखते हो तो इजी हो जाएगा। ओके, yeah, it is the way we generally do it. You can use either ways, you only have to have the habit of feeling the pulse. और एक बार मजा आता है, once you feel the pulse ना, बहुत मजा आता है। Okay, yes, so anyways, to actually get that इफेक्ट मोर ना, समटाइम्स जो बहुत बूढ़े लोग होते हैं ना, उनमें कभी कभी पल्स नहीं मिलती है, डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है उनमें पल्स मिलना, देन वी कैन इवन एक्चुअली यू नो पुट अ स्टेथोस्कोप एंड गेट इट डन। सो वैसे भी हम लोग कर लेते हैं डिफरेंट मेथड्स, द ओनली थिंग इज यू शुड नो हाउ टू गेट द पल्स। मजा आता है बट आएगा तो। हाँ यस, इधर, ये इधर दिस रीजन नेक पे, ये रीजन पे आपको फील होगा, वेरी क्लियरली आपको फील होगा इधर भी। हाँ यस ऑफ कोर्स है, और मजा भी है बहुत, वैरायटी भी है और मजा भी है। Okay, so this is how we generally, you know, calculate that this is how we generally go ahead with. And the baby's heart is very much, you know, like smaller, but it beats very faster. Okay? So day 24, the formation of the heartbeat is going to continue at the ventral side. आगे की तरफ, heart आगे की तरफ होता है, of course, so ventral side, no doubt. And yeah, हम BP का machine, you have seen, blood pressure machine. नॉट दैट डिजिटल वाला जो हम डॉक्टर्स यूज करते हैं, जिसको हम स्फैग्मो मैनोमीटर के नाम से जानते हैं। आई टॉक अबाउट दैट ऑल्सो इन सर्कुलेशन चैप्टर। इनफैक्ट अगर ये सब कुछ नॉर्मलाइज हो जाता है तो आई जनरली कैरी दीज माई पर्सनल इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स टू द क्लास टू शो यू ऑल ऑल्सो कि बीपी मशीन कैसे होता है। आप बीपी लेना सीख सकते हो क्लास में ही, बिकॉज मैं आपको पढ़ाऊंगी ना। हाँ वो जो होता है वो। ओके, तो वो भी पॉसिबल होता है जब मैं एक्चुअल फिजिकल लेक्चर्स लेती हूँ तो, बट इधर मैं लाके निकाल के क्या करूँ, राइट? एनीवेज, सो दैट कैन ओनली बी डन इफ वी मीट इन पर्सन। तो तुम लोग भी अपने आप से भी ज्यादा आपके फ्रेंड्स का, आपके बाजू में जो बैठे हैं उनका आप बीपी ले सकते हो, मेरा ले सकते हो। मेरा भी कैसे, मतलब कैसे बीपी लेना है, कैसे वो लबडब आवाज सुननी है, these things can be studied practically. Okay, ऐसा नहीं that everywhere, because I have got it with me, I bring it to the class and I generally do this physically, ये करा के दिखाती हूँ बच्चों को, तो और मजा आता है ना कैसे करना है, इसीलिए। What is your doubt, beta? If the female is pregnant, does her pulse rate fluctuate? To some extent, to some extent, right? कोरोना वैक्सीन बनाना कब सीखेंगे? वो भी सीख जाएंगे, लेकिन वो वैक्सीन आने से पहले ही अगर ये गायब हो गया ना तो और भी मजा आ जाएगा, है ना? वेट एंड वॉच वाली सिचुएशन है। वैक्सीन्स आर रेडी, वैक्सीन्स आर रेडी, द ओनली थिंग इज द प्रॉब्लम इज विथ द ट्रायल्स, बिकॉज कोई भी वैक्सीन हो, कोई भी मेडिसिन हो बेटा, इट कैन नॉट बी just got into the market and given to the general public. That is called as clinical trials. Now, what is happening in clinical trials? There are phase 1, phase 2 and phase 3 clinical trials. Phase 1 clinical trials जो होते हैं वो generally directly human beings पे नहीं होते हैं. They are done on artificially grown organisms. फाइन, उनके ऊपर अगर सक्सेसफुल हो जाता है, then that particular medicine will be, or that vaccine, whatever it is, okay, that drug would be administered to a variety of individuals with respect to the age, with respect to complications, with respect to side effects. तो न्यूबॉर्न बेबी से लेकर 100 साल के बूढ़े तक के लोगों को ये ट्रायल बेसिस पे देना होता है। अब मुझे बताइए बेटा, हु विल गिव दिस पर्टिकुलर ह्यूमन ट्रायल्स के लिए अपने आप को कौन बहाल करेगा? इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू फाइंड पीपल फ्रॉम दिस वाइड स्ट्रेटा ऑफ एज। तो पहले ऐसे लोगों को पकड़ के लाना होता है, उनको कन्विंस करना होता है कि कुछ नहीं होगा, द थिंग्स आर फाइन, और फिर न्यूबॉर्न बेबी से लेकर 100 साल के बंदे तक ये ड्रग ट्रायल्स लेने होते हैं, उनको अंडर ऑब्जर्वेशन रखना होता है, उनमें कुछ साइड इफेक्ट्स हो रहे हैं क्या, आर दे डेवलपिंग एनी कॉम्प्लिकेशंस, आर दे हैविंग एनी बेनिफिट्स, उनमें कितना % बेनिफिट हुआ, जो 10 साल के बच्चे में हुआ है वही 100 साल के आदमी में भी हो रहा है कि कितना डिफरेंस आ रहा है, पोटेंशियलिटी कितनी कम हो रही है, 10 साल के बच्चे को कितना डोज देना पड़ेगा, 100 साल के बंदे को कितना देना पड़ेगा, उसमें से भी दे हैव टू फाइंड आउट पेशेंट्स, लाइक कैंसर अगर है तो उनको हम दे सकते हैं क्या, उनमें क्या कॉम्प्लिकेशंस है, डायबिटीज है तो क्या करेंगे, ब्लड प्रेशर है तो क्या करेंगे, हार्ट इश्यूज है तो क्या करेंगे, हैंडीकैप्स है तो क्या करेंगे, कैंसर है तो क्या करेंगे। तो बेटा ये जो फेज 2 के जो ट्रायल्स होते हैं ना वो बहुत ही क्रिटिकल होते हैं, बिकॉज इसमें इतना सारा पैरामीटर्स को एनालाइज करना होता है। आप ऐसे उठा के लाके किसी को भी इंजेक्शन नहीं दे सकते हो, और जब तक इसका रिपोर्ट नहीं आता है कि द थिंग्स आर इन प्लेस एंड द पोटेंसी इज गुड एंड देयर आर लीस्ट साइड इफेक्ट्स, ये जब तक ऑन पेपर नहीं आता है ना तब तक यू कैन नॉट लॉन्च इट बच्चा। तो ये फेज 2 के क्लिनिकल ट्रायल्स होने के बाद फेज 3 के जो क्लिनिकल ट्रायल्स होते हैं, फेज 3 के जो क्लिनिकल ट्रायल्स होते हैं ना वो होते हैं इन द साइड इफेक्ट्स जो आए हैं, what are the side effects that are seen in the clinical trial 2, उनका रेक्टिफिकेशन इज डन इन क्लिनिकल ट्रायल 3 और फेज 3 जिसको हम कहते हैं। तो फेज 2 अगर पास कर दिया है इसका मतलब इट इज सक्सेसफुल, but it is having some amount of problem with the side effects which can now be overcome with the same group of people. phase 3 में उनको वो improved version दिया जाता है, and they will check if there are any side effects again that they were experiencing in phase 2. And if that is cleared with nominal range होती है, उसमें भी एक range होती है, वो अगर clear हो जाता है, then only it can be put in black and white that it is safe to be used. तब तक नहीं. तो phase 2 already clear हो चुका है, इसीलिए majority of the countries have started the production of that vaccine in their own countries. They have started, even India has started, right? On a large scale it has started, on a bulk scale it has started, but they are just waiting for the phase 3 कि जो modify हुआ है, एक हाथ दो इंग्रेडिएंट्स इधर उधर मॉडिफाई होते हैं वो मॉलिक्यूल्स, तो वो सिर्फ ऐड करना बचेगा. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि वैक्सीनेशन अभी तक क्यों नहीं आया, साइंटिस्ट को नहीं समझा क्या, डॉक्टर्स को नहीं समझा क्या, सबको सब समझा है. वैक्सीन ऑलरेडी फेज 1 में आ चुका है, वैक्सीन ऑलरेडी बन चुका है, बट इट कैन नॉट बी मार्केटेड अनलेस एंड अंटिल द क्लिनिकल ट्रायल्स आर सक्सेसफुल. सो इट अराउंड like generally takes around 9 to 12 months for the complete clinical trials ke analysis. So we are expecting it to be there somewhere in the month of September, October. Or of course, till it comes to local market, it may be till November, December, maybe. The production कितना है, कितना हो रहा है, वो फार्मेसी वालों का काम है. So how quickly they can manufacture this product is something that we have to wait and watch. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि नहीं है, ओके, आ रहा है, आ गया है. We are waiting for the positive results. Fine. Yeah, the age limit is 18 to 56. Like I wanted to be a trial, but there was a minimum and maximum age limit. So see, the reason is no beta, the predominancy of the COVID-19 effect is maximally seen between 18 to 56, and you cannot risk on with people below 18. आपको पता है आप blood donation भी below 18 नहीं कर सकते हो. You cannot donate the blood before you complete 18 years of age. You are still not considered as an adult, and after 56 you will be considered as a senior citizen. So इसीलिए senior citizens and teenagers या children, they are not going to be directly involved. Fine. वो भी है, but not from our normal strata. Fine. Okay, fine. What are blood islands? You don't know? Okay, I'll talk about then eventually. आने वाला है, ये भी topic आएगा. Is remdesivir cure for corona? I won't say cure, but it will stop the spread. It won't kill the virus. It will stop the spreading. It will take care of it not going deeper and harming more tissues. Okay. Of course. Yeah, pharmacies का वही तो काम है बच्चा. Okay. Anyways, so रशिया का सेकेंड फेज क्लियर हो चुका है, बट वही है, मैंने जैसे बोला कि साइड इफेक्ट्स कुछ ना कुछ आए हैं, इसलिए अगेन इट्स अ क्वेश्चन मार्क. ओके, लेट्स सी. ओके, सो वेयर वी, हाँ, वी कम टू okay, we come to the day 28 ka part. That is 24 may we saw what the heart is going to continue. That is what we have seen, and now we are going to talk about after 4 days, that is from day 24 to day 28, what is going to happen is something that we are going to talk about. Okay, so what is that is heart will start beating. तो वही मैंने बोला कि हार्ट का बीट जो होता है ना, हार्ट बीट जो होता है वो क्या होता है, व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय दैट हार्ट बीट? सो पंपिंग एक्शन जो है ना, इट विल स्टार्ट. ओके, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दिस व्हाट विल हैपन, the 3 pairs of the visceral arc and 30 to 31 pairs of the primitive mesoderm will also be formed simultaneously, and blood islands will appear. Now, what do you mean by the word blood islands? Blood islands are nothing but these are the cell aggregates. Aggregate समझते हो? एक साथ आके ऐसा गुठली बनाना. सो ये जो है ये 28 डेज में ब्लड का एग्रीगेशन स्टार्ट हो जाएगा, ब्लड सेल्स का एग्रीगेशन स्टार्ट हो जाएगा. इट इज गोइंग टू हैपन ऑन द डे 28, दैट इज गोइंग टू बी इन द अर्ली embryo formation. Okay, and it will appear to make, you know, like as if the blood is clotting, ऐसा वाला एक फील आ जाएगा. ओके तो इसको हम कहते हैं ब्लड आइलैंड्स. बट ये जो क्लस्टर है, ये जो ब्लड आइलैंड्स है ना बेटा, दे विल टेक प्लेस इन द योक सैक. दे विल टेक प्लेस इन द योक सैक. Day 32, 30 to 39 pairs of primitive mesoderm is formed. So look at it, the number of pairs of primitive mesoderms बढ़ रहा है. Pairs क्यों बोल रहे हो? You are understanding why are we calling it as pairs? Because if you see the mesoderm formation was like this way. एक लेफ्ट साइड में जा रहा है, एक राइट साइड में जा रहा है, तो ये पेयर्स में ही मल्टीप्लाई होता जाता है, इसलिए हम इसको है ना पेयर्स कहते हैं. फाइन. 7 weeks, jaws, fingers, external ears will begin to appear. The CR length, C stands for crown, R stands for rump. The CR length, the crown rump length, that is the length which is taken from the head to the bottom of the hips, is called as CR length. Is going to be around 90 to 20 mm. Ab, whenever the female will go for a sonography, all these parameters will be checked for her. If that fetal growth is taking place properly, that is, if in the 7th month, the 7th week, sorry, if in the 7th week the CR length is around 19 to 20 mm, of course, then there is no tension. They'll say, okay, the things are in place, go ahead. What will happen in the 8th week? The embryo is completely surrounded by the amnion. There's going to be formation of the fingers and the toes, which would now be clearly visible. Almost all organs have been formed with continuing development. At the end of the 8th week, the embryo will appear like a miniature human being, little human being. छोटू. हाँ कुछ बोला किसने? Now called as the fetus. So from the size 28 to 30 mm का जब साइज हो जाता है वो एम्ब्रियो का, अब उसको हम एम्ब्रियो नहीं बोलते हैं. Now we start calling this embryo as fetus. Fine. By the 5th month, now we are directly coming to 5th month. मतलब first trimester खत्म हो गया. First 3 months are done. 8 weeks is around 2 months. Okay. Now we are coming to 5th month because there is going to be a lot of things that will appear in the 5th month of the periods. 5th month of the pregnancy में होता है blood formation starts in the bone marrow. तो देखिए ये जो blood के islands बने थे, aggregates बने थे, वो free flowing नहीं थे. So actual the free flowing blood को बनने के लिए it's going to have the RBCs being formed where? In the bone marrow. Decidua capillaris and parietalis, they connect together. You remember decidua capillaris and parietalis. Parietalis is the side one and capillaris is the head region. They'll fuse together. There'll be development of the hair over the body of the embryo now. By 9 months of the pregnancy, the placenta is going to attain maximum size. Nails on the fingers would appear. In the next 10 days, the fetus is ready to be born as a little baby. The above mentioned timings are approximate time periods. Sometimes due to some reason, certain babies are going to be born before the stipulated time. The babies which are born in the 7th month are also having an equal chance of survival as normal babies. They may also survive as normal babies. Generally, 7th month kids do not have a problem in survival. वो miniature है, birth के time पे वो small है, but when the child will grow up, that time कोई बोलेगा नहीं कि this is a 7th month child करके. Grows normally. Fine. So this is the day-wise, calculations. What is going to happen when? Okay. Now, This is the diagrammatic form, very much similar. ये देखो 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 24 weeks, 38 weeks. You can see how the development has actually occurred, and now the baby is really in the position to be undergoing parturition. Okay. Now we come to, you want me to show the last slide? Okay. See this. This is just a, developmental form. You want before this one also? Okay. Why do babies suck their thumb? There's no particular reason for it. There's no particular reason for it. Something that will keep them engrossed. That's it. Nothing else. Okay. Germinal layer and their derivatives. So we have got 3 germinal layers. Let us understand each germinal layer gives rise to what? So organs which are derived from the ectoderm. You have to remember this. In your 12th standard board exams, this is one of the famous questions that they ask you, that enlist the organs which are developed from ectoderm. Enlist the glands which are derivatives of ectoderm. ये ऐसे questions आपके boards में भी आते हैं. तो बेटा प्लीज ये बोर्ड के हिसाब से बहुत ही क्रूशियल स्लाइड्स है. एक्टोडर्म का क्या फेट है, एंडोडर्म का क्या फेट है और मीजोडर्म का क्या फेट है. ये बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट वाला पार्ट है. इसको आपको बाय डिफॉल्ट याद रखना पड़ेगा. देयर इज नो ऑप्शन टू इट. ओके फाइन. So the first that we're going to talk about is the skin. That is the epidermis. And the pigment cells. Those are going to be your melanin. You know, melanin gives us color. है ना. जितने मेलानिन के सेल्स कम है उतने हम ज्यादा फेयर है. जितना मेलानिन ज्यादा उतना अपना शेड डार्क होता जाता है. So the pigment cells and the skin is a derivative of ectoderm. Ectoderm gives rise to skin, that is the epidermis, and the pigment cells. Mucosal membrane of lips, cheek, gums, basal portion of the mouth, some part of the palate, and nasal apertures. Nasal apertures are the openings. So lip, cheeks, gums, mouth का base, palate मतलब ये जो टंग ऊपर करने के बाद जहाँ टच होता है ना उसको हम कहते हैं palate. And nasal apertures also are derivatives of ectoderm. Lower part of anal canal, glans penis, labia majora, outer part of labia minora, anterior epithelium of cornea, epithelium of conjunctiva, ciliary bodies and iris of the eyes. अब हमें लगता है everything is of the eye is coming from ectoderm. No, आगे मैं बताऊंगी there are some parts which are going to be a part of something other than ectoderm. So please be careful. What are going to be from the ectoderm? देखिएगा. Epithelium of cornea, epithelium of conjunctiva, ciliary bodies and iris. ये 4 चीजें जो eye से related है are derivatives of ectoderm. Outer face of the tympanic membrane and epithelium of the labyrinth. तो जो हमारा ear है, ear में tympanic membrane होती है. You know what is a tympanic membrane? A tympanic membrane is a fold of a skin. Okay, it's tight fold of a skin. तो ये tympanic membrane पे है ना, हम जो बोलते हैं whatever we say, it is going to hit in the form of waves on the tympanic membrane. तो ये जो tympanic membrane है ना, इसके ऊपर ये देखिए, ये जो एक beating हो रहा है waves का, that will be passed on internally to something called as labyrinth. Labyrinth is inner ear. Okay, tympanic membrane is middle ear. एंड मीटस, कनाल मीटस या कैनाल कहते हैं हम, ईयर कनाल या ईयर मीटस कहते हैं, दैट इज द एक्सटर्नल ईयर। तो ये जो हमारा एक्सटर्नल पिन्ना है ईयर का, उसके बाद वो ऐसा एक कैनाल है, वो कैनाल जहाँ एंड होता है वहां पर मिडल ईयर है जिसको हम टिम्पैनिक मेम्ब्रेन के से जोड़ देते हैं। वहां पर 3 बोन्स होते हैं, इनकस, स्टेप्स एंड मीटस। आई विल बी टॉकिंग अबाउट ऑल दीज ऑफ कोर्स। मैं डिटेल में आपको ईयर पढ़ाने ही वाली हूँ, पूरा ईयर का डिटेलिंग है हमारे सिलेबस में, तो आई विल टॉक अबाउट दैट। But right now I'm telling outer face of the tympanic membrane means the tympanic membrane which is seen by us. जब आप टॉर्च से अपना ईयर देखोगे तो एक फ्लैप दिखाई देगा, हमें लगेगा यहाँ पर ईयर एंड हुआ, नहीं बेटा, वो फ्लैप है कॉल्ड एज द टिम्पैनिक मेम्ब्रेन। तो ये जो फेस, आउटर फेस जो है, इट इज मेड अप ऑफ एक्टोडर्म एंड along with that epithelium of the labyrinth. Labyrinth is going to be a part in cochlea. You might have heard about this word cochlea. Yeah, you're right, Shravani, very good beta. It's called as eardrum, very right, because it is hitting the tympanic membrane ना, उसको drum कहते हैं हम। So labyrinth is going to be a part present in cochlea, that is going to be the inner part of the eye, ear, which I'll be talking about. Okay, so ये 7 organs जो है अलग अलग एरिया के, हाँ yes, ये जो 7 organs है ना, ये derived है from ectoderm. Fine. Yeah, what is your doubt? I didn't read your doubt. I'm sorry. मैं पढ़ाती गई, इसके बीच में आपने कुछ डाउट पूछे हैं. Let me check. Some wipe towards the mother in the palm or thumb, so when the baby touches the mom, he knows it's her. Is this true? Ah, yes, that is there. They are going to share common things in, so many common things. So yes, this is there, Shruti. What is that, beta? I have heard that it is good to have more melanin. Is that true? More is the melanin, better is the chance of not having skin cancer. Less melanin is prone for skin cancers. Okay. What is this? Okay, fine. Yeah. So let us go to the glands now. Now look at the question that they're asking you in your exam. Are they asking a question on enlist the glands that are from ectoderm, or are they asking the question enlist the organs that are derived from ectoderm? अलग हो जाएंगे दोनों भी। तो ग्लैंड कौन कौन से है देखिए, एक्सोक्राइन ग्लैंड्स है, एंडोक्राइन ग्लैंड्स है। एक्सोक्राइन ग्लैंड्स लाइक स्वेट ग्लैंड्स, सेबेशियस ग्लैंड्स, पैरोटिड ग्लैंड्स, mammary glands and lacrimal glands. These all are going to be exocrine glands which are the derivatives of ectoderm. You know sweat glands, आपको पता है। Sebaceous glands पता है आपको बेटा? Do you know what are sebaceous glands?
Yes, miss.
What are they? What they'll secrete? Yes, Vedant, you are right. Yes, Himanshu, correct beta. Yes, they secrete oil or sebum. Correct. Yes, so they are going to be the sebaceous gland. Parotid glands पता है आपको? हाँ, saliva. Yes. Very right. Yes, salivary glands 3 टाइप के होते हैं, उनमें से एक है पैरोटिड ग्लैंड. Okay. Yes, very correct. Yes. Mammary glands, so we know the breast would be nothing but the mammary glands. What are lacrimal glands? Yes, Shravani. Very nice beta. Lacrimal are tear glands. आई के इधर जो होते हैं ना टीयर ग्लैंड्स, गंगा जमुना जो बहती है कभी कभी बहती है, मत बहाना, कोई जरूरत नहीं है उसको बहाने की. दे आर वेरी प्रेशियस, कीप इट, डोंट यूज इट ओनली एनी टाइम. ओके, तो ये जो लैक्रिमल ग्लैंड्स है ना इधर है, ऑफ कोर्स नॉट ओनली फॉर crying, but it is also going to secrete the tears for keeping the bacteria, fungi away from entering. तो हमारे आंखें majority of the times open ही है, so there is high chance of they getting coming in contact with any of the contaminants. So in that case, immediately the lacrimal secretions would act as, antibacterial, antifungal type of, secretions that will take care of they not infecting our eyes. But sometimes we do get certain eye infections, we get styes, है ना, कभी कभी आ जाते हैं ना, तो that is very rare, but majority of the times it will take care. देखिए आपके आंख में कुछ चला जाता है ना, तो तुरंत पानी आ जाता है, and we try to remove it. So जो तुरंत पानी आना है, that is because of this lacrimal gland. So lacrimal glands are also important part. Fine? Yeah. Yes. Next is endocrine gland. Endocrine glands are going to be hypophysis cerebri and adrenal medulla. Hypophysis cerebri is going to be present in the brain region, and adrenal medulla is going to be your adrenal gland, जिसका medullary region है. Medulla and cortex दो regions होते हैं adrenal gland के. तो इसमें से जो medulla है, center part है of this adrenal gland is made up of ectoderm. Okay, hair, nail, enamel of the teeth. There is something called as dentine of the teeth and enamel of the teeth. So enamel of the teeth is going to be because of the ectoderm. Lens of the eye. Why lens of the eye is not an organ? Why lens of the eye is considered as a gland? ऐसा है? बिकॉज एक क्वेश्चन आया था, अभी किसी ने मुझे पूछा था, मैम वाई लेंस ऑफ द आई इज अ ग्लैंड. बच्चा इट इज नॉट अ ग्लैंड. ग्लैंड्स दो ही है. 8 के नीचे आप देखिए मैंने एरोस किए हैं. सो ग्लैंड्स दो ही है, एक्सोक्राइन एंड एंडोक्राइन. एक्सोक्राइन में 5 है, एंडोक्राइन में 2 है. उसके अलावा जो है वो 9, 10, 11 आर अगेन व्हाट? ऑर्गन्स ओनली. Fine. So it is not a gland. Lens of the eye is also an organ. Fine. Don't confuse this. Okay. So lens of the eye and the nervous system, except one, the entire, except one part, I'll talk, which is that. The entire nervous system is ectodermal in origin. पूरा का पूरा nervous system ectodermal है बेटा. ठीक है, तो ये जो 11 चीजें हैं, ऑर्गन्स के हिसाब से 10 और ग्लैंड के हिसाब से 1. You have to know them very well. You have to understand them very well. You have to by heart them. What is what? But technically speaking, there is no reason for by hearting. Externals जो भी है, majority of the things are going to be ectodermal. See, आप लिस्ट देखिए, जो बाहर की तरफ है वो ecto ही है, तो ecto means outside. So majority of the things are the ones which are going to be outside. Exceptions है, like adrenal medulla inner part है, but still. Okay, come on. So this is about the ectoderm. Let us talk about the next one. That's going to be something called as mesoderm. Epithelial tissue ectodermal था, connective tissue mesodermal है. So connective tissue, superficial fascia, deep fascia, ligaments, tendons, dermis of the skin are all mesodermal. Okay, superficial fascia and deep fascia. You know what is that? I had told you spermatic fascia करके मैंने कुछ आपको explain किया था. So you know what is a fascia? You know what is a fascia? Yes or no? पता है आपको what is a fascia? Yes. So वो जो एक covering है, that covering is going to be called as the fascia. तो superficial जो है, even that is going to be made up of mesoderm, and the deep one is also going to be made up of mesoderm. Okay, so please understand this. नहीं तो आप क्या करोगे, superficial जो है ना वो आप लिखोगे ectodermal, और deep जो है वो आप लिखोगे mesodermal. Don't make this mistake. Okay, ligaments, tendons, a part of your skeletal system, है ना? Dermis of the skin. What is the difference between dermis and epidermis? You know this? Does anyone know the difference between dermis and epidermis? No? हाँ, yes beta Vedant, very right. Yeah, epidermis is going to be the outermost covering. Below that there is going to be dermis. तो क्या होता है ना, अगर एपिडर्मिस कभी कभी कट जाता है ना तो खून नहीं आएगा, ऐसा एक स्क्रैच आ जाएगा बट ब्लीडिंग नहीं होगा. बट जब डर्मिस कट हो जाता है ना उसके बाद ब्लीडिंग चालू हो जाता है. सो डर्मिस इज गोइंग टू बी लाइंग बिलो द एपिडर्मिस, राइट? यस. देख रही हूँ, देख रहे हो. Yes, yes, yes. This layer of the adipose. Reticular tissue are fine thread-like tissues. Mesh जो बनाते हैं, network. My camera is off. Okay, sorry. हाँ, तो ये जो रेटिकुलर है ना बेटा, ये ऐसे mesh बनाते हैं, जाली बनाते हैं, नेटवर्क बनाते हैं. तो ये mesh-like tissue को हम कहते हैं reticular tissues. All the bones and cartilages are derivatives of the mesoderm. अब teeth का animal was ectoderm, but the teeth is going to be mesoderm. Okay, so we have got different layers of teeth which we'll be doing in which chapter here? Digestion करके एक chapter है हमें, उसमें हम teeth के बारे में भी बहुत अच्छी तरह से detailing करेंगे. That I will tell you. But enamel is going to be one of the toughest layer which is very difficult to get degraded. तो outermost layer जो है teeth का, उसको enamel कहते हैं. अंदर जो है वो डेंटाइन है और फिर पल्प करके कुछ होता है. 3 लेयर्स होते हैं इसमें भी. तो ये जो पूरा टीथ है इट इज मेसोडर्मल इन ओरिजिन. ओके, yes, Himanshu, you are right. The dermis is going to get harmed. Yes. Okay, all muscles are mesodermal in origin. Heart is also mesodermal in origin. Blood vessels, blood cells, mesodermal in origin. Kidney, uterus, urinary bladder, posterior urethra of female, upper glandular part of the prostate, ovaries, uterine tubes, testes, epididymis, vas deferens, seminal vesicles, ejaculatory duct, pleural cavities, peritoneal cavity, pericardial cavity, joints, ये सारे mesodermal है बेटा. देखिए, नो बचा. यहाँ पर मैंने आपको वही बोला कि एनिमल जो है ना बेटा इट इज एक्टोडर्मल इन ओरिजिन, वाइल जो टीथ है वो एंडोडर्मल इन ओरिजिन है. ठीक है, समझा? एंडोडर्मल बोल रही हूँ, मेसोडर्मल इन ओरिजिन है. ओके, सो ये समझना है आपको. जैसे कि अगर देखिए ये है मेरे पास, वेरी गुड एग्जाम्पल आई कैन एक्चुअली शो यू. सी, इफ दिस इज द टीथ, ओके, इफ दिस इज द टीथ, दिस इज द एनिमल. तो ये टीथ के ऊपर का ये जो कवरिंग है ना बच्चा, ये देखिए, ये जो टीथ के ऊपर का कवरिंग है उसको हम कहेंगे एनिमल. तो ये जो शार्पनर है ये प्लास्टिक का बना है, बट उसके ऊपर का ये जो कवरिंग है ये पेपर का बना है, समथिंग लाइक दैट वे. सो एनिमल इज एक्टोडर्मल व्हाइल द एक्चुअल टीथ इज मेसोडर्मल. ठीक है, यस. हाँ, या यस बच्चा अश्विन, यू आर राइट. ब्रेन अपना एक्टोडर्मल वाला था, बाकी देखिए कितना सारा मेसोडर्मल इन ओरिजिन है. देखिए, सो मेनी थिंग्स ना. यस, द जॉइंट्स, वी नो द जॉइंट्स, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. अब आई के बारे में देखिए, हमने एक लिस्ट आई की एक्टोडर्मल देखी थी. नाउ लेट अस अंडरस्टैंड आई की दूसरी जो है वो मेसोडर्मल है. व्हाट आर दोस? कॉर्निया, स्क्लेरा, कोरोइड, ciliary body and iris related material. मतलब ciliary body and iris is ectodermal, but ciliary body and iris related material जो है ना that is mesodermal. ये देखिए यहाँ पर कहानी में ट्विस्ट है आपके. iris और ciliary body, I'll go one slide before. मैं आपको एक स्लाइड पहले वाला दिखाती हूँ. ये देखिए, हमने यहाँ पर देखा था, क्या देखा था? where हाँ, see this anterior epithelium of cornea, conjunctiva. देखिए ciliary body and iris of the eye क्या है? ciliary body and iris क्या है? ectodermal है. और अगर आप दूसरे स्लाइड पे देखते हो तो ये देखिए what it is, ciliary body and an iris related material. So don't get confused, don't lose your marks. iris है, ciliary body है, ectodermal है, उनसे related जो material है that is mesodermal. Fine. Microglia and dura mater, a part of the brain again. So we have got pia mater, dura mater. हम देखेंगे 3 layers है उसमें भी, and the microglial layer as well. So microglial layer and the dura mater are going to be mesodermal. Yeah, arachnoid. Yes, बच्चा, very right. Did you all understand? तो mesoderm कितना important है देखो, हमारे majority of the visceral organs are going to be a result of mesoderm. Majority of the visceral organs, huh? But which is this mesoderm, beta? It is that sandwiched mesoderm. That is the embryonal mesoderm, not the extraembryonal. Extraembryonal कोई भी organ बनाने में काम में नहीं आता है, हमने पहले ही देख लिया था, है ना? तो ये जो मीजोडर्म की बातें हो रही है, ये जो हार्ट बन रहा है, ये जो टिश्यूज बन रहे हैं, ब्लड बन रहा है, कार्टिलेज बन रहे हैं, टेस्टिस, एपिडिडाइमिस, ओवरीज, जो भी हम देख रहे हैं, all are a product of what? Endoderm, which is going to be sandwiched in between the ecto and the mesoderm, which is sandwiched between the ecto and the endo. ठीक है, तो इसमें प्लीज ब्लंडर नहीं करना. हाँ, गॉट इट. Lastly we come to endoderm. Endoderm ज्यादा दिमाग का ये नहीं करेगा, देखो सिंपल है. Derivatives of the endoderm: epithelial part of the mouth, some part of the palate, tongue, tonsils, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, upper part of the anal canal. मतलब ये जो यहाँ से start होती है ना ट्यूब, ये पूरी ट्यूब end तक endodermal in origin. Fine. Pharyngotympanic tube, middle ear, inner face of the tympanic membrane, endodermal. Outer face was ectodermal, right? अब देखो ये जो सारे हैं ना, बाकी के जो rest of the things that are going to be present in the ear, endodermal. Respiratory tract, right? Gallbladder, pancreatic duct, major portion of the urinary bladder, complete urethra of the female except the posterior part. Complete urethra of the male except the anterior and the posterior part, matlab the central part. Whole inner part of the vagina including inner face of the labia minora also. तो ये जो है ये सारे के सारे एंडोडर्मल इन ओरिजिन है. ग्लैंड्स में देखो, एक्सोक्राइन ग्लैंड में लीवर एंड पैनक्रियाज आर एंडोडर्मल, एंड एंडोक्राइन में थायराइड, पैराथायराइड, थाइमस, आइसलेट्स ऑफ लैंगरहैंस, ये सारे भी endocrine. In addition to the above, the glands of the gastrointestinal tract, major part of prostate are also formed by endoderm. तो इसीलिए ना बेटा आपको confusion ना हो. So I have actually given point wise what is what. In your textbooks it's hodgepodge. बीच में ही endoderm आता है, बीच में ही ectoderm आता है, बीच में ही mesoderm आ जाता है, फिर वापस mix होता है. Not given very clearly. So I have enlisted each and every organ perfectly. So please go through these and learn them very nicely what is what. There is no need of, again I'm saying there is no need of mugging up. Logic apply karo. It's very simple. Fine. So this is going to be the fate of the 3 germinal layers. Next we come to something called as the parturition and lactation. Parturition is the act of expelling the full-term baby from the mother's uterus at the end of the pregnancy, which will be completed in about 280 days from the mother's last menstruation. So 9 months plus 7 days plus minus जो हमने count किया है ना बेटा, it is approximately 288 days, but हम 280 days के हिसाब से लेते हैं, ठीक है? The fetus, अब please keep your brains open. Because this is very crucial, very important, not mentioned in any of your textbooks and questions भर भर के आते हैं ये part में से. तो please इसको समझिएगा बेटा. Try to understand what I'm trying to tell you. Okay? The fetus signals it that it is mature. तो ममा को कौन सिग्नलिंग दे रहा है कि मैच्योर हो गया है? ममा नहीं बोलती है बच्चा मैच्योर हो गया है, बच्चा बोलता है कि मैं मैच्योर हो गया हूँ. डोंट टेल मी, हम आज भी वही बोलते हैं मम्मी को. तो मुझे पता है ममा अब हम छोटे नहीं हैं, प्लीज प्लीज डोंट डू लाइक दैट वे, डोंट डू लाइक दिस वे. होता है ना बहुत नाटक आजकल तुम लोग का, बहुत नाटक. आई नो ऑल ऑफ यू ऑल. ये मत करो वो मत करो. अरे यार अभी मैं बड़ा हो गया हूँ, अभी मैं बड़ी हो गई हूँ, मुझे इतनी तो समझ है. प्लीज स्टॉप दिस. है ना? छोटे हो फिर भी खुद को बड़े ही समझोगे. ये स्पेशलिटी होती है बच्चों की. डोंट वरी, मैं भी ऐसे ही थी. यू आर नॉट एन एक्सेप्शन. ओके फाइन. No, I'll talk about that, but I'll tell if the women will immediately start the menstrual cycle after parturition or not. I'll talk about it. Okay. So here also the fetus is going to signal that it is mature by secreting a hormone called as ACTH from its pituitary. मतलब बच्चे के pituitary gland में से ACTH hormone synthesize हो रहा है. देखिएगा. What is ACTH? किसी को पता है full form of ACTH?
Ma'am, adrenocorticotropic hormone.
Very good. Yes, yes, you're perfectly right. Even Manan, you have written the answer correctly, beta. Yes, Vedika, very good, beta. Yes, adrenocorticotropic hormone, ये जो ACTH hormone है, yes, 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 Siddharth, right, beta. ये जो ACTH hormone है, कहाँ से synthesize हुआ? From the pituitary gland of whom? The fetus. The fetus is going to secrete this ACTH from its pituitary gland. Now what will happen because of this? The ACTH is going to cause the release of corticosteroid hormones from its adrenal gland. अब देखिए हाँ, ये कहानी बहुत मस्त है. ब्रेन में से ACTH आया किसके? बच्चे के. वो ACTH का सिग्नल किसने रिसीव किया? रिसीव करने वाला कौन है? एड्रेनल ग्लैंड. किसका एड्रेनल ग्लैंड? बच्चे का ही एड्रेनल ग्लैंड. ओके अब बच्चे के एड्रेनल ग्लैंड को जैसे ही समझा कि ACTH आया है, इमीडिएटली द एड्रेनल ग्लैंड्स विल रिलीज समथिंग कॉल्ड एज कॉर्टिकोस्टीरॉइड्स फ्रॉम देम. लिंक समझे आपको? Link समझे बच्चा? So when the fetus is matured, ACTH from its pituitary will be liberated, which will be taken up by whom? Which will be taken up by none other than adrenal gland of the fetus. And the adrenal gland of the fetus will now synthesize something called as corticosteroids. Now these corticosteroids are going to diffuse. They will diffuse across the placenta and they will get accumulated in the mother's blood. Okay, तो ये questions बहुत twisted आते हैं आपके exam में. That what gets accumulated in the mother's blood? It is not the ACTH. It is the corticosteroids. These corticosteroids will diffuse out from the placenta and will get accumulated in the mother's blood. समझा? तो देखो, these fetal hormones will diffuse across the placenta and accumulate in the mother's blood till they cause decrease in the progesterone production. So who is causing decrease in the progesterone production? We saw as and when the fertilization actually took place, तब से लेकर अब तक प्रोजेस्ट्रॉन एक्यूमुलेट हो रहा है, एक्यूमुलेट ही हो रहा है. अब ये एक्यूमुलेटेड प्रोजेस्ट्रॉन की लेवल कम कराने के लिए आ गए हैं कॉर्टिकोस्टेरॉइड्स. तो दे आर गोइंग टू बी एंटी प्रोजेस्टेरोनिक हॉर्मोन्स. उनका दूसरा नाम क्या है? एंटी प्रोजेस्टेरोनिक हॉर्मोन्स, बिकॉज दे आर गोइंग टू वर्क अगेंस्ट प्रोजेस्टेरॉन. Right? So this corticosteroids will decrease the amount of progesterone. And they will increase the secretion of prostaglandins. Do you remember? We had already talked about this prostaglandins. है ना? तो देखिए प्रोजेस्टेरॉन की लेवल कम करेगा और प्रोस्टाग्लैंडिन्स की लेवल बढ़ाएगा. कौन? कॉर्टिकोस्टेरॉइड हॉर्मोन्स. ठीक है? Then what will happen? See, reduced progesterone levels will allow the secretion of oxytocin by the mother's pituitary and ends the inhibitory effect of the uterine contraction. तो जब तक प्रोजेस्टेरॉन था तब तक यूट्रस को कॉन्ट्रैक्ट होने से वो बचा रहा था. हमने पहले के हमारे डिस्क्रिप्शन में वो पढ़ा था that progesterone is going to take care of keeping the uterus intact, not allowing it to undergo contractions. So as and when the progesterone level has decreased, now what has happened? The oxytocin is also going to be released, and oxytocin is responsible for what? Just now we saw peristalsis. Yes, right? So now this oxytocin will ensure that ये peristaltic movement set in हो गई है. और पेरिस्टाल्टिक मूवमेंट तभी सेट इन हो सकती है जब प्रोजेस्टेरॉन की लेवल कम हो जाती है. डिड यू ऑल गेट इट? सो नाउ व्हाट विल हैपन? Oxytocin stimulates uterine muscles to contract further, and prostaglandins are going to increase the force of contraction. तो ऑक्सीटोसिन सेट करेगा कॉन्ट्रैक्शन और प्रोस्टाग्लैंडिन्स जो है ना उसको पूरा एफिशिएंसी से कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एंड रिलैक्स करने में हेल्प करेगा यूट्रस के मसल्स को. ठीक है, ये जो है ना बेटा एक्शन, ये जो एक्शन है ना यूट्रस के जो मसल्स है उनका ये स्क्वीजिंग एक्शन है ना, उसी को इन नॉर्मल लैंग्वेज वी कॉल इट एज लेबर पेन्स. द मसल्स आर गेटिंग स्क्वीज्ड ना, इट इज ऑफ कोर्स गोइंग टू बी पेनफुल, है या नहीं? करेक्ट. सो इट इज जस्ट द स्क्वीजिंग ऑफ द मसल्स. व्हाई दे आर स्क्वीज्ड? so that the baby is going to be pushed ahead for expulsion. Okay, this provides force to expel the baby from the uterus, causing birth. So did you all understand how the hormones are playing such a great role? Hormones of the baby also, and the hormones of the mother also. Oxytocin is the hormone of the mother's pituitary gland, while ACTH and corticosteroids are of the fetus. Did you understand? Okay, I'll tell you, Parnavi, that reason is also given ahead. Parturition involves forceful muscular contraction called as labor of the uterine wall. About 2 weeks before the birth, the fetus normally settles head downwards into the pelvic cavity. On the completion of gestation, the labor starts. The parturition may be divided into following 3 stages. So that is what I was saying, it is called as labor pain. You have seen labors, they do such a painful and stressful job, है ना? So it's anything that is very stressful is called as a laborer's job. So because this is a very strenuous, stressful, energy sapping wala process, we call it as labor pain. Okay, well, so there are 3 stages that we have to understand. Quickly I'll go through this. With these 3 stages we will complete this chapter completely. First is the dilation stage, second is the expulsion stage, and third is the placental stage. Let us quickly go to each one of them. Dilation, it lasts for about 12 hours. Regular peristaltic contraction of the uterine wall will begin, passing from top downwards. Okay, so from the abdominal region they'll reach to the vaginal region. So that is called as from top to downwards. This results in moving the fetus downwards towards the cervix, which causes the expansion of the cervix fully. We have already said that the cervix is highly flexible. हमने os देखे थे, internal os and external os ना, तो अब उसके वजह से क्या हो गया बेटा, ये जो cervix है ना ये पूरी तरह से expand हो जाता है. Amnion and chorion will rupture now. So because of this muscles का pushing and squeezing, amnion and chorion burst हो गए. They have bursted, they have ruptured. The amniotic fluid passes out, lubricating the vagina. It's very important, the vagina has to be very well lubricated. Otherwise it is going to be, if there is a lot of friction that is going to be taking place, it will be very, very difficult for the child as well as the mother in the event of parturition. So amniotic fluid is going to be acting like a lubricating agent. The fetal placenta is pulled out from the uterine wall, making the baby free. So now rest of the fetal placenta would be pulled out, because of which that attachment which is going to be there with the mother's placenta is going to be broken. It will set the baby free now. So this is called as the dilation stage, that is pre delivery stage. Okay, so before the actual parturition takes place, the dilation stage is going to be experienced. After that, we have got something called as the expulsion stage. That is going to be the actual delivery of the baby. It lasts for about 20 minutes to 1 hour. The uterine contractions would become all the more powerful. They are going to be accompanied by contractions of the abdominal wall as well. Okay, so now even the abdominal wall is going to play a role in its contraction. With these contractions, the baby is gradually pushed outward through the dilated cervix and the vagina with the head foremost. And finally, we use the word the baby is delivered into the outside world where it draws its first breath. The umbilical cord is ligatured at 2 places. इसका मतलब मैं बताती हूँ आपको. अगर ये umbilical cord है, अगर ये umbilical cord है, तो 2 positions पे, जैसे मेरे fingers है, ऐसे 2 पोजीशंस पे इसको लाइगेचर्ड किया जाता है. लाइगेचर्ड मतलब क्लिप्स लगाकर ऐसे दबाया जाता है. इट्स कंप्लीटली squeezed with the use of clips. So this is called as ligaturing, right? So that is called as ligatured. So the umbilical cord is ligatured at 2 places close to the baby and cut between the ligatures. Why do we put clips like this way? Why do we not cut it directly? To prevent blood loss. बच्चा just newborn है, cannot afford to lose blood drastically. तो ये clipping करने के बाद अगर blood है भी तो ये clip के आगे नहीं आएगा, plug के जैसा ये इसको रोक देगा. तो ये 2 clips के बीच में से इसको cut करते हैं. ठीक है? Totally the baby is going to be free from the mother now. The cervix and the vagina are dilated. Dilated means expanded. Okay. And the ligaments of the pelvic girdle are relaxed by the hormone relaxin. So ये एक बार expulsion stage mummy cross कर लेती है, immediately her pituitary gland will synthesize a hormone called as relaxin. Okay, but rather than pituitary, it is going to be the corpus luteum. Okay, which is going to be secreting the relaxin. The signal will be given by the pituitary. Okay, so the relaxin is going to be a hormone which is going to be synthesized in the corpus luteum for easy birth of the baby. So ये cervix को dilate करना, vagina को dilate करना, pelvic girdle को relax कराना, ये सारी चीजें जो है ये relaxin के function में आ जाएगी. और relaxin under the influence of the pituitary corpus luteum इसको synthesize करेगा. तो हमारा corpus luteum intact है. Corpus luteum did not get converted into corpus albicans. That is what we had seen in the earlier chapters, classes. है ना कि if the pregnancy is set in, the corpus luteum will remain as corpus luteum only. So corpus luteum is going to be now synthesizing the relaxin hormone. Is it fine? So this is the expulsion stage. And lastly, we come to the placental stage. It lasts for about 10 to 15 minutes after the infant's birth. Now the placenta, umbilical cord, fetal membrane are expelled by series of uterine contraction. Normally, they'll be expelled, but generally what the gynecologist is going to do, the gynecologist is going to actually insert the hand in the vaginal region of the just delivered mother and scrape off all these tissues. ये जो सारे tissues है ना उसको scrape करने पड़ते हैं, actually निकालने पड़ते हैं. ये फर्स्ट 15-20 मिनट्स में ही करना होता है जनरली, बिकॉज आफ्टर 45 मिनट्स है ना सर्विक्स वापस नॉर्मल हो जाएगा, यूट्रस का साइज वापस नॉर्मल हो जाएगा. तो बिफोर दैट डायलेशन इफेक्ट गोज ऑफ, उसके पहले ही अंदर तक हाथ डालकर ये सारे टिश्यूज को निकालना होता है, क्लीन करना होता है as we say. So these structures are referred to as afterbirths. Further contractions of the uterus close the cervix and prevent excessive bleeding. Bleeding throughout the process is kept low by the contraction of the smooth muscle fibers of the uterine blood vessels supplying the placenta. Sometimes the fetus fails to come out and a surgical procedure called as the cesarean section is needed, which is called as C-section operations जो होते हैं. Here the baby is removed through a cut given in the mother's placenta in the abdominal region. तो in the abdominal region जहाँ placenta form हुआ है उधर cut दिया जाता है and the baby is going to be expelled through that particular cut. In that case it is very difficult to remove the excess of the placental tissue. Okay, but if it is going to be a normal delivery, then this is possible. That is the placental stage. Okay, it is going to result in less painful parturition activity. It becomes less painful. It gives a soothing effect for that reason. Okay, so this is the placental stage that we have understood. Lactation. Mammary glands start producing milk at the end of the pregnancy, where the process called as lactation. The milk produced during the initial few days of the lactation is called as colostrum. This colostrum is very, very, very important for the child to be fed on because it is the richest source of antibodies, richest source. Okay, so if that antibodies are going to be administered to the child, there are very less chances of the child falling sick very often. So antibodies would be directly, there is an antibody called as IgM, which is only and only found in this colostrum. And it is one of the most important antibodies to be administered to the child immediately because it will remain in that child's body lifelong. So colostrum is very important. It helps in developing resistance of newborn babies. It is recommended that the lactation should be carried out for minimum 2 years till the age of the baby. So जब तक बच्चा 2 years का नहीं हो जाता है, तब तक it is the mother's duty to keep the child nutritionally fit. And that is the reason that those kids who are actually, fed with the mother's milk till the age of 2 will be having a very good health quotient. They'll not have, chances of falling ill very often. Their immunity in itself would be very, very strong. So that is about the lactation. Did you all get it? With this, we complete this chapter actually. Wow, so nice decoration someone has done. Thank you so much. I'm teaching the KG kids now. Anyway, so this is what we had started our journey with this particular chapter a long back, and we have completed it. It is one of the longest chapters of your syllabus. Rest of the chapters are not these long. They'll be very short and they'll be, we'll wind it up very fast. This is the one which is the longest. Okay, so we have completed with this particular chapter in total. Any doubts, any difficulties in whatever we have done till now? In today's class, whatever I have taught you, anybody is having any difficulty, beta? You understood everything? Good. So I'll ensure that you get this PDF also very soon so that you can start preparing for this as well. Your question is in the connecting chapter, my dear. No, it is not immediately after the parturition. It is going to be arrested till the lactation is going to be continued, but it is not necessary always. Say actually what happens, in the normal delivery cases, the cervix is going to get closed, but till that particular entire uterine blood which is still going to be present in the uterus even after parturition has to be thrown out. So for another 15-20 days or so, the female will keep on expelling that particular blood which is considered as the menstrual blood. It is not the menstrual blood. And after that, once that entire blood is going to be thrown out and the cervix is now completely closed, from that time onwards, generally till the female is feeding the child, till that time the menstrual cycle should not occur. But sometimes it does occur after 2-3 months. So generally, at least for 2-3 months at least, the menstrual cycle is going to be not going to occur in a female who has just given birth to a child. Fine. Okay, so this is all that we had to discuss about. So next Thursday, we'll go ahead with a connecting chapter of this, that is going to be reproductive health. So we'll go ahead with the reproductive health to complete human reproduction and the reproductive health together. Is it fine? Chalo, fine. So tab tak ke liye, see you all. Next Thursday, I don't think there is anything, nothing. Yeah, so we'll see you on next Thursday. Those who are coming for Monday's class, beta, we are going to see for Monday also. We'll go ahead with the chapter that is going on over there. And Thursday, kids, we'll see you all on Thursday. Fine? Bye. See you all, beta. Take care.